Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to welcome to the stage the sport lyrically acclaimed Alaji some man. Because when he came out with a face.
Yeah,
He
it
went
went
from
from
ashes
shit to
to
classic.
classic.
Yeah, I
Everybody in the
get it.
house,
All
give a
right.
warm round of
All
applause
right.
for Oracle
I
Koji.
will just say, sport has never seen a brother like me. You like that, yeah? When I was young, I used to play
Play
football
football.
too. Besides that,
Besides that,
sports fans, it's a pleasure, and a big shout out to the notorious Big as well. What an interesting way to introduce today's edition. We have missed you, but this is that time of the year that it's like Christmas to us sports fans. The NBA playoffs is in full swing, and what I'm taking out of it is forget what you hear from the media. The NBA is in great hands. And if you're wondering why I'm repping the Canadians, the NHL playoffs is also in full swing. Game
nice.
four of round one of the NHL playoffs holds tonight between the Montreal Canadiens and the Washington Capitals,
Oh,
hoping for the
nice.
Canadians to tie that series up. The Champions League final is almost here. Congratulations to Arsenal women. Will the men make it an Arsenal double in the UCL this season?
Oh,
Stay tuned for a cracking one.
that would be interesting, yo. My name is Ladeja Adeba. It's the best sporting show in the whole of the universe. It's Newsinstanta Sport, of course. Every on a bad radio scope on our Twitter handle, on Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere else you can think of. Of course, we're on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about amazing things, but we'll be starting with the world of basketball. It's been going crazy, and like Achi said, the future is secured. I look at Antonio Edwards. Um, Dude made a whooping 320 threes
Three points. Yeah.
during the regular season.
Mhm.
And that gives you something to think about when you have an AE ahead of a Steph in 3 points made across the season, And like I said, I don't I did not see Magic play for too long. Maybe I watched Magic for just one
The
season, and
latter
then
part of his career, yeah.
yeah, and then I was not a major basketball fan, so
Mhm.
that's the best point guard I've ever seen in my life. Even though he's not a point guard, truth be told, right? But that's his position, and we can't argue with that. He brought his A game yesterday. I think we should start from the Golden State
State
Warriors
Warriors, yeah.
against the Rockets. Rockets, I don't know. I don't want to use the word deadly, so to speak, in
Mm.
game two. Butler needed to go. He was out injured. And the Rockets won 2-1, 1-1. And yesterday we thought, oh, yo, they can't. The Golden State Warriors can't do it against Rockets
Stingy defense
without
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Butler.
And Demon Green came out in a new mood swing. Moody came out in a new mood swing. Steph with the 36 points, drop points. It was crazy. It was heavily. That's how I'm gonna put it. It was heavily the kind of basketball that was produced. And I don't know why my God keep telling me that they will be conference final or they will get to the finals. I don't know why I keep it keeps ringing in my head. If they can get Jimmy back, it's game on, man. What do you think, Kachi?
Um, Very, very possible, Dave. But I like to qualify this by saying it's all about matchup. I do agree with you. I think the Warriors match up very, very well against the Rockets, who, for some reason, rather than play imposing football or imposing
Basketball.
basketball, is trying to be very bruising and be very physical. I get it. It's the playoffs. The refs swallow the whistle, but you are leaving your identity to try to pass a message, which is totally unnecessary at this point. But I still think matchup is really what counts. In game three over the weekend, we had four Warriors in double figures, two coming from the bench, Gary Payton the second and Moses
Yeah,
Moody,
yeah,
both entering double figures.
yeah.
We saw Podziemski do what he would do as usual, 10 points. I think he had eight rebounds in total, almost a
Wow.
double double. And of course, the cook 36, 7 and 7 on a night where playoff Jimmy was absent. I still
Perfect.
agree with you that the Warriors match up favorably against
The
Houston,
Rockets.
primarily because they don't have anybody to you can't there's no one you can switch. Most of those guys are big bodied.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
want to
yeah,
protect the paint, but
yeah.
there's it's so difficult to from trying to protect the paint and allow those and prevent those in cuts. You are opening the lane, the corner three
Yeah,
is wide open,
yeah,
the,
yeah,
the, the perimeter three is wide open. And
yeah.
I think that is what is hurting Houston. Now, on the possibility of them making the Western Conference final, like I said, it boils down to who comes out of the Wolves
Lakers encounter.
Lakers game. I think the Warriors match up very well against the Wolves, who are in great shape to probably end this series in 6 games. But if it's the Lakers, I also think the same way they don't have an answer for nobody has an answer for Steph Curry. I have to be really honest with you. The Warriors will not play a physical brand of basketball like the Wolves are playing,
Yeah,
which will
yeah,
allow a Luka Doncic more room to wreak as many havoc, which is why
yeah.
I
That's
think the
true.
Lakers match up better
Better
against the Warriors,
against the.
but
Yeah,
it's anybody's game right now. We all thought the Wolves Lakers game would end in 5 series, in 5 games.
in 5 games.
It's probably looking like it's going to end the other way for the
Ant
Wolves.
Man,
So yeah.
like you're saying, right now it's 55-54 between the Lakers and the Wolves. Game four, right? The
Mhm.
Wolves up, 2-1 game up, and honestly, I look at it and I feel, without pointing at accusing fingers, I feel Luka has not brought his A game.
Mhm.
Realistically, this is his team. It's not a LeBron team. Austin Reeves have been a better player for them in this series, both defensively and offensively,
Mhm.
ahead of both LeBron and Luka.
Mhm.
And this is not what I expected. Truth be told, I'm disappointed. But Luka has an excuse. It was sick game three. That was the excuse that we
Mhm.
probably could have given to him. End up with 17 points. Where do you think this series? How do you think it's gonna end?
I think Game Four has become very critical. With understandably, knowing that Luka did not bring his A game in Game Three, I think he also realizes it. Between him and LeBron, they've scored 43 out of the 55 points that the Lakers
Oh
currently
wow,
have in the first 2 quarters of Game Four. So now what it means or what they need is for the bench to pick up the remaining
the
slack.
remaining
I
track
just talked about the Golden State Warriors having 2 players off the
off the
bench
bench.
get into double figures. They need to get that from Vanderbilt. Gabe
Yes,
Vincent right now is scoreless. He needs to start jacking up those threes
threes.
because they are going to scheme him open right now.
Yeah,
I do think the Lakers don't match up well against the Wolves. Let's be very honest. That Wolves team is physical. They
yeah,
have great, post defense in Rudy Gobert.
yeah.
And because the Lakers are not really very athletic, like a Steph Curry who runs around off the
Around,
ball
yeah,
and
yeah.
has to keep Rudy Gobert on his toes.
Those
Gobert
keep
can
on this
just sit comfortably in the
in the
post and
paint.
clean up anything. He's
Yeah,
cleaning up the board. The game is tied now at 55 apiece. I think there's a foul or whatever. I do think, however, if the Lakers escape out of Minnesota tonight
with
with
a
a
win.
dub, and the series is tied at 2-2, then I think this game ends in 7, but I will give a slight advantage to the Lakers.
To the
If it
Lakers.
doesn't, and it's 3-1 advantage Minnesota,
Game
the
over.
Lakers can kiss this series over.
Over. All right, perfect. But I totally agree with you. Either way, the Lakers are going to do this in 7 if they want to win. They can't do, but the Wolves have a better chance of doing it in a 6,
Mhm.
especially if they win tonight. And
Mhm.
of course, the Cavs versus the Heat, 3-0 up.
Yeah.
Is basically home and done with that
That
one. In
series
my
is
own
over.
opinion, it's over. And OKC for done and over against. It was a clean sweep
Mhm.
against the Grizzlies, but it has to be put out there that Ja was injured in game three.
Yeah.
Olali said either way, we know OKC are going to go through. right?
Yeah, so I mean,
But
it
but
makes no
with
difference.
yeah, no, it wouldn't have been a clean sweep. It would
It
have been
makes
a
no
get to
difference. It
sweep.
makes no difference to me. It makes no difference. That
Why
team
not?
is
It,
that team barely scraped into the playoffs.
into the playoffs,
They are
right?
not ready. Their fortune follows the fortune of Ja, and right now Ja is not in a great headspace, and we are
Yeah,
seeing it tell on the team.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think he needs a change of scenery. That's my hot take. I think
Oh,
Ja needs to leave and move to another city or another franchise.
and so another interesting one is going to be the Nuggets versus the Clippers. That is an amazing
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
2-1 ahead for Nuggets. Nuggets barely escaped through in game three.
Hmm.
To keep it at 2-1.
Hmm.
What I would expecting tonight. Honestly, I'm
I
all
think
in
game four.
for yeah. I'm all in for the Clippers with what I've seen of them, the way power plays, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, the way they played so far in this series, I
Hmm.
really give them a whole lot of respect. And the PCs for the Nuggets might not come to the table. Nicola is going to give you, Jokic is going to give you a double double or a triple double. That's the
Hmm.
standard, whether he's playing well or he's not playing well. Last game he had 21 rebound. I'm like, how do you have 21 rebound? How? Like that's crazy as far as I'm concerned. But is Jamamore, is he going to play well? Is Porter going to play well? Those are the
Hmm.
questions you asked. Is Brody going to play well? Those are the kind of questions that you ask. But the Clippers actually have more players that can actually play very well and can give them an edge over the Nuggets. But of course, you can't count the Nuggets out. Although I feel they are silly sacking their coach before the playoffs. Whatever the story there is, we don't know. I don't think it's about not listening to the coach anymore. That's a stupid excuse as far as I'm concerned. But honestly, what do you think of the series?
Then when we previewed this playoffs, this was one series that we thought will go to 7 games,
Yeah,
and it's shaping up to be like that. I
yeah.
do think the Clippers sneaked game four. They played with more poise. When Kawhi plays the way he has been playing,
Come
the
on.
Clippers have a chance.
Chance,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think we need Zubac to pick up some of the slack.
Uh-huh.
It's similar to what I've been saying about the Lakers and the need for them to have a third option. Zubac needs to be that third option and be very, very. Um, he has to be cerebral with his approach.
Mm,
The Nuggets, we have to be very honest. We're lucky to still have Aaron Gordon on the court after all that
yeah,
skirmish. He
yeah,
could
yeah,
have been ejected,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
thankfully
yeah.
for them, he was the one who got the last second millisecond dunk
Missing contact, yeah,
that
yeah.
ended game three. So they need to keep their discipline. I don't think anybody is going to win 2 straight games in this
In
series,
this
and
series.
that is why I feel the Clippers would need game four. I still think the Clippers win the series, but only at the end of game seven.
Yeah, and so an amazing one, and so more interesting one is going to be the Bucks versus the Pacers. Pacers 2-1 ahead right now. Pacers, you have the Siakam of the world. I have
Mhm.
my boy, Tyrese Halliburton. They're doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? And the Bucks, of course. There's this boy. There's this particular LeBron SQ freak from Greece that can do amazing things for them as well. So um game three, game four, I believe. 2-1 ahead for Pacers right now. What are you calling right now? Do you think
Uh,
the Bucks will nick hits in Indiana and keep it at
no.
2-2, or
So
Pacers
so
will
game
take
four
it?
game four is in Milwaukee.
Is
I
the
think the
Milwaukee okay?
series the series goes back to Indiana tied at 2-2,
2-2,
but I
okay.
don't think the Bucks have enough. Giannis has been playing superhero hero
Yeah,
ball all through.
yeah,
Yes, I know Dame has to get back into the rhythm of playoff basketball. He's been out for a while now,
yeah,
so that
yeah,
is affecting him and his productivity. How quickly he can get back to that sequence and to that level remains to be seen,
yeah. That's close to
but I
impossible
don't think the Bucks have enough in them.
in the
Similar to
action.
what I'm saying about Ja Morant, for a totally different reason, I still think the time has come for Giannis to say goodbye to the Bucks franchise.
Oh my God! So where do you think it's gonna go? Golden State Warriors.
It depends on when Jokic goes. But I think LeBron goes and Luka Doncic and Giannis become the new face of the
Team.
Los Angeles
Oh,
Lakers.
nice. That'll be great.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. I think that's it. I think they both ride out
do
their
you think Jokic
contracts.
is going to leave Denver?
He may. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right now, I think
Ah,
Jokic may. It may happen, but you need to understand, and it's a little bit far-fetched now that I think about it, because except maybe his action, his true persona is different from what we are seeing outside. He doesn't appear to be really interested in all those trade and all those
trades.
dealings. That may be the only reason why he remains. But we once thought Luka Doncic was going to retire a Dallas Maverick, and now he's wearing the purple and gold.
That'll be crazy.
I do think Giannis needs that move.
Yeah,
They are wasting so many great playoff performances.
performance. Yeah,
Everything aligned for them in 2021 or 2022 when they won it.
yeah,
Right
yeah.
now, they can't play themselves out of an injury crisis. And hey, say what you will, Doc Rivers and Devin Ham, and they're not probably your two best options right now as
Options.
coaches.
Yeah, yeah. That'll be crazy. Where do you think Jokic will go? Nicola will go. Whoever gets Nicola is. Oh my God, you're getting
Nicola
some
can go to New York. The Knicks definitely need it.
Knicks.
They need an injection. Um, they were swept by by Boston this year. But the Knicks are almost like in football. How will I describe? The Knicks right now are like the current iteration of Manchester United and Chelsea. Rich history,
Yeah,
terrible owners,
yeah.
atrocious decisions when it comes to the hiring and the signing of players,
All
and
players.
they always botch it up. They always botch it up.
All right, Magic, Orlando Magic versus Celtics. I thought this was going to be a sweep, but game three proved otherwise. I know the Celtics will go through definitely
Mhm,
at the end of the
mhm.
day, but would they be able to do it in 5 games or 6 games?
I think they do it in six. I think the Magic, even when they played at home in Orlando, they barely, it wasn't as if it was a blowout kind of
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
The
yeah,
Celtics still hung in there.
yeah.
The Celtics are just better top to bottom,
Mm-hmm,
such that you
mm-hmm.
can't even say, oh, the Magic defeated them. You probably say the Celtics lost the game.
Lost the game.
So
Yeah,
it boils down also to game four. Game four has become very pivotal. The Celtics win it, it's over at the next game. The Orlando Magic win it, then you might have to give them credit for extending that series to six
series
games.
to 6 games.
Yeah.
Of course, so the unfortunate one I would discuss is the Detroit Pistons versus the New York Knicks. They've lost like 2 games,
Mhm,
barely lost 2 games, right? But
mhm,
they
mhm.
lost those 2 games nonetheless. The Knicks are going to do it in 4 games.
The Knicks, I was totally surprised to see a Detroit Piston team that splits the home series for the Knicks, only for them to lose the next two
Next
games
two
at
games at
home.
home,
I
yeah,
think this series
or 5 games, right?
is totally over. It's a gentleman's sweep. The Pistons are just happy to break their playoff drought.
Yeah,
They didn't really come here to win,
yeah,
neither
of
did they
course.
prepare. So I'm happy to have counted themselves among the playoff teams this year. Let's not forget that last year we were counting how many games they've lost.
Yeah,
They lost almost 30 games
yeah.
consecutively.
I was saying in my mind, I said these guys that are looking at that are holding the New York Knicks. I think they won like 14 or 15 games. They
Yeah.
were terrible with the Rocket last year. The
They
Rocket too
won
were terrible last year.
they lost about 30 games in a row. So
Yeah,
um, it's just a big win for them to
big
already
one.
make the
Yeah,
playoff compared to where they were just last
last
season.
year. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that series is over.
Yeah, and for the defensive player of the year, just before we go on the basketball section, we're talking about everybody thought Green was going to win this. I thought Green was going to
I
win it.
didn't think so. I
And
didn't think so.
when I heard it was going to be Evan Mobley, I'm like, oh, I watched a lot of the Cavs game, and I
Mhm.
would say I would say it's the best defensively. It's good defensively, but I would still have stuck on my neck for Damon Green this year in terms of overall play and how we play better than even Mobley. But it is what it is. What's your opinion on that? I
It
know
will always be
you have a say on that.
it will always be very subjective, Debo. Don't forget, I'm a Draymond Green fan. I mean, I follow, I listen to his podcast. I think he's great as a new media guy. But I think there is a perception that the media, the voting NBA people have of the Draymond Green that a great season cannot immediately override that
Overall,
perception.
that
You
perception.
know, so like the same way we think there's voters, I don't want to call it apathy when it comes to, or should I say, a hangover, because there's a reason why LeBron James, who has continued to be elite, has been stuck on just four regular season MVP.
MVP.
And it's the same thing that's going to happen to Jokic this year. Clearly the better player this season, but
Uh huh.
SGA, I think, will win it. I think the voting media have an impression of Draymond that they just can't see themselves. Every time they want to press a vote for Draymond, it looks like they are vomiting because they just this,
This
pardon my
boy, no
French, this
way.
way that
This
what
man is not. You
we
can't give
cannot
this
give this
guy.
crazy guy our votes. And I think
Yeah,
that's what has happened. That is not to take away from what Ivan Mobley has
yeah,
successfully achieved. They were
definitely.
clearly the best team this year, and there's a major reason of them being the best team, and they lost less than 20 games
Yeah,
all year long.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
is a major reason for that. Yes, Draymond could have won it, but even if I'm Mobley winning it, it's not so bad.
It's not so bad. All right, we'll go on a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll be jumping into the world of football, talking about the Champions League. But a la Barcelona, not a la Madrid this time around, and of course, Liverpool winning the league. I hope Manchester United fans will be so crazy right now.